So for our first discussion here in Recreation 601, we're asked to provide insight into what we consider to be a pressing and unresolved issue in sport management, how we would categorize said issue, if the issue previously existed as a risk or a crisis, and why the current solution is proving to be ineffective. So our module presents this graphic distinguishing risks, issues, crises, and we see issues fall in between something that could potentially happen and something that is in fact happening with some sort of dire consequences. It's kind of described as a state of tension or controversy. So this figure that we've seen is about halfway underwater, but as time passes, we know that figurative water level is going to continue to creep up to a dangerous level. In a chat I had today with Dr. Barrett, I decided to run with this idea that's along the same thread as my research project that I've been doing for the last 7 weeks, and it's closely related to this idea of community recreation access. So the best way to title what I want to talk about is by calling it inequality in community recreation. We've all heard the rule, 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity per day for children. And then some years ago we heard about school programs being forced to make budget cuts, and the short end of that stick was physical education classes and recess, and these were taking away opportunities for children to be physically active throughout their school day. I found this study from the National Library of Medicine, and it's appropriately entitled Neighborhood Income Matters, and it's about the disparities in community recreation facilities and amenities. So some studies suggest that parks in lower income neighborhoods that have a greater population density will be less well maintained and have poor quality facilities than those in higher income neighborhoods. In this particular study, 30 community recreation centers, 541 families with kids aged 5 to 8 from 5 cities in California participated. And the results of this study indicated that the conditions of the community center facilities and amenities, not their number, was positively related to neighborhood income. In this article, it had a chart that broke down facilities and amenities, and it presented data for low and moderate and high income neighborhoods. So the higher percentage of facilities in good condition was associated with moderate and high income neighborhoods. And these rec centers were more likely to be the ones that had gyms and activity rooms versus lower income neighborhoods that were more likely to have things like tennis courts and playgrounds. I would consider this to be a resource issue. People are behaving like kids that meet the criteria of being from lower income families or areas are less deserving than those of middle and high income families and areas. The money is being spent where the wealth currently is. At this time, I wouldn't consider it to be a crisis, but it's absolutely a trend, and it's certainly an issue that continues to linger, and it's to this day still waiting for someone to flip the script and make a change on that.